Hi everyone, I'm Liz and welcome back to Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch for Flosstube episode 12. I have so many fun things to share with you this week. I'm really excited. I have some Sampler September updates. I have a finish and an FFO that I'm very excited about. And I have even a surprise guest appearance. My mom came to visit yesterday and brought some stuff and was like, let's film a little video clip. So that'll be in this video. You can see my mom and some of the stuff that she's finished recently. And I have a little bit of a Halloween quilt update. So let's get right into it. So yesterday was my nephew's 5th birthday party. And of course, in the time of COVID, it was just with immediate family. And my sister and her family even live on my street. So it was literally just had to walk down the street to that one. And so we celebrated with burgers and cookie cake and all kinds of toys and games. And, you know, my nephew had a great time. And my mom had brought a bunch of her cross stitch and a quilt with her, and she was like, after this, let's go back down to your house and film a little clip for your video. And I was like, okay, yeah. I was really excited about it. So what I'm about to show you is yesterday afternoon, after we got done with Charlie's birthday party, sitting at my dining room table and walking through some of my mom's recent projects. So enjoy. Ginger, do you want to be in Flosstube? Okay, you can come here. But you can't get on cross stitch.
And you can't get on my quilt.
Well, she will take a nap on that quilt.
Sorry, kitty.
How do we want to start?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm already recording, so.
Oh.
Hi guys. I have my mom with me today. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Sissy. I'm Elizabeth's mom.
And she came over today, and so we thought we'd film. She brought some cross-stitch stuff and some quilt stuff. Some I've shown you, and some I haven't. Oh, Ginger.
And we have special guest Ginger,
who's just going to sit on the table and stare at us as we do this. We're in the dining room today, so there's more room. What do you want to start with?
Well, let's start with what I got back into cross-stitching with. So I picked up a pattern when we were at the Grand Canyon of these rugs, and you can tell I'm an amateur because I can't get this.
Here, I'll hold it.
Okay.
Yeah, so she got this kit. It's on Ada, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a kit from the Grand Canyon of some Native American rugs that she stitched with, was it DMZ, you think? It was like the
it was all kitted up.
Yeah. And so I framed this for her for Mother's Day, but she stitched this piece. And I think I showed this in one of my first videos. But this is what got her back into cross stitch. So let's stop then. When did you first cross stitch?
Way too many years ago.
No, but like how old? Like, I mean, as like a teenager or in your 20s or?
Probably as a teenager.
Like with kits or?
With kits, yeah. Everything was with a kit.
Okay.
And yeah, I did all sorts of crafts.
I remember in your bedroom, were there ducks? Or was that quilted? Do you remember?
It was a quilted duck,
okay.
Mallard duck with the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever have cross stitch hanging in the house anymore?
Never.
No? Okay.
Okay. No. Never framed anything.
Do you remember me learning how to cross stitch?
Yeah, I think when y'all were little, I would buy you the little plastic kits that you had the plastic needles.
Yes.
And Charlie wants one of those.
Oh yeah, we should get him. Do you remember, what was the name of the store that, before it was Joann's by Big Lots?
Oh.
Remember it was like a little fabric and craft store in that shopping center with the hardware store?
I don't remember.
Because when your mom lived on Scotland Yard, we would walk over to that little craft store and she would get me like little yarn, plastic canvas kits or like puffy paint or, you know, like craft kits. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't remember the name.
But anyways, I feel like that's one of the first times I remember actually like stitching with like, you know, I mean, it could have been before that with you, but I remember her taking me over too.
Yeah, she was very much into crafts. She started out, because you were my first child, and she made you this beautiful baby quilt that was embroidered kittens that she pieced. And
I have that, don't I? I need to show that. Yeah, okay.
And then she hand quilted it. And then when my second child was born, she said, okay, that quilt was too much work. So she got a print that had sections and hand quilted that.
Yeah.
And Sarah's quilt the third quilt was just 2 pieces of fabric hand quilted together with a nice design, but not a panel print. So,
okay.
Yeah. So,
all right, cool.
Anyway,
what else do you have?
So,
let's do your finishes first.
Okay, so the finishes, I'm using the Prairie School Sampler alphabets.
Prairie Schooler Christmas alphabet.
And I am not using any of the called for colors. I bought a packet of floss from Michael's, a very brightly colored one, because I wanted to have the ornaments be very bright. So
who is this one for?
That is Isla's. So I started youngest to oldest. So I've got the first 3 done.
So her youngest granddaughter
is Isla, and she has an angel. And then next up is Andy, and he's not an angel, so he has the train.
And this is on more of that lime green Monaco that I had dyed.
Yes. And
you can see the size difference on these. I gave her a scrap of 36 count, and this is 28 count. So look how teeny tiny little Isla's is.
And then Sophia is the snowman, and that is more of the hand-dyed fabric you had given to me.
Yeah, I love this
that
one.
I did some of the other ornaments on.
I think I did a Christmas ornament for myself on this. Whenever I pull out all my Christmas stuff, I'm gonna do a walkthrough of all my Christmas finishes.
Yeah.
So I think I did an ornament for myself on this fabric. That's so cute.
Next up will be Charlie's.
Okay.
So if you can finish those for me.
Yes.
Thank you. Because I can't do it. And then I have one whip.
Yeah.
That is this
Lizzie Kate. This is the one that came out last year called Sampler Claws. Lizzie Kate has retired, but she, I think, is still doing like kind of 1 or 2 charts a year.
Yeah. And that was one I think that someone had given to you.
Yeah.
Goodies.
Renee had gifted me a bunch of charts, and this was one that was in there, and I actually already had it. I haven't stitched it yet, but my mom's working on it, so I gave her the chart to work on it.
So,
are you using the DMC colors, or just what you have?
I have actually bought the DMC colors on the back. I followed directions this time, and here's how far I've gotten.
Is this the 32 count that I gave you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the fabric, whatever.
Yeah. So this is the 32 count Mystery Color Zweigart linen that I had given her. And here's her progress. Oh, that looks so cute. But Santa's big. He's like the whole big mane thing.
Yeah, he's a lot, but I like the little present so far in the top corner. I think that's my favorite.
That's really cute. I always like Lizzie Kate's presents because I feel like she does like these little triangle bows and things. I've stitched a lot of hers. Yeah. Yay. All right. And then the next thing is I showed you the quilt that I had quilted for my mom last week. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago. And she finished binding it and got it all washed. And so we'll show you that now while we talk about it. I'll insert a video of the quilt so you can see it.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about why you picked the pattern or where you got it?
So I've been following Victoria Findley Wolf. She's a fabric designer and she does a lot of quilting, and it's her pattern that I'm using. And all of her stuff looks very super complicated, which is way out of my comfort zone
it's out of mine. I feel like I sew complicated things, and her stuff is really cool but really crazy.
Yeah. So last time we went to the QuiltCon, in Austin, she had a booth there, and she was the featured speaker, and we stopped by her booth, and I was admiring the pattern books and was gonna buy, I was determined to buy one of them.
Yeah.
And the one that I picked, this lady in the booth said, oh, this one over here, if you like that style, is really easy to do. And she pulled the pattern out and she showed it to me, and it was a Star Storm pattern. And I thought, after she showed me how you do it, I'm like, oh, well, that's not hard. I can do that. So
yeah,
this was my first attempt. And, there's a few wrinkles in it, but only I know. And you, of course, but
that's okay. I won't point them out.
Anyway, I was very pleased with how it
I really want to
out.
do that pattern at some point. I have so many quilts in progress, which I was actually thinking about yesterday, that I could almost do a quilts in progress video like I did with my cross stitch in progress. So if anybody wants to see quilts in progress, let me know. I got a lot.
And I made the entire quilt out of fabric that you had gifted to me as you were cleaning out your fabric stash.
I moved last year, and so I was getting rid of a lot of fabric stash because I have way too much. And so yeah, she put it to good use.
So yes, it's all went to good use, and there's even more to come. So I even cut the pattern down, and once I finish it, I made a 20 by 20 pillow of the Star Storm. So for right now, it's an 80 by 80 quilt.
Did you ever finish it into a pillow?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, you'll need to send me a picture of that when you do it, so we can show them.
That. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Mom, for coming to visit me and for sharing all your wonderful stitchy stuff. And I'm sure she'll be back in the future as she finishes more projects, because we had a lot of fun doing that yesterday. So I want to show you, I FFO'd something that I showed you guys in my whip parade a couple of weeks ago. You might remember that I was working on Prairie Birds. And I realized I had 2 finishes and one that was still in progress. And I had gone to Hobby Lobby earlier this week to look for some kind of unfinished wood pieces. I really was trying to find those cheese boards that everybody seems to be finishing stuff on, and I've had no success finding those little wooden cheese boards. But I did find a couple of other cute things for finishing, and one that I thought would work really well for my Prairie Birds. And so I tried that out last night and I love it. So let me show it to you. So I finished this little bird from Prairie Schooler Prairie Birds, and here it is. Oh my gosh. So cute. I love this. I love how this turned out. This is a little wooden hanging decoration from Hobby Lobby that did say Hello Fall in it. And I covered a piece of foam board with this blue and white fabric. And then I put my stitch piece on a piece of mat board, or maybe a piece of sticky board. I actually took... I filmed myself. I'm probably playing it right now as you're hearing these words, so don't worry about it. But I filmed myself finishing this, so you guys could kind of see what I do when I finish things. I am not a professional, but I just set my camera up over the top of me and let it play, and took a little video of what I do to finish my things. So I covered that blue fabric in sticky board, or I mean over a piece of foam board to kind of give it some height, and then my stitch piece over a piece of sticky board, and assembled it inside this little frame so it's almost like a little shadow box, and tied a piece of pretty blue silk ribbon up to the top. And I love this. So I'm gonna go back to Hobby Lobby before they sell out and get 2 more of these frames and finish my last 2 little Prairie Birds the exact same way, and then they're gonna be perfect for spring, summer. That's Prairie Birds. So next I had a finish this week. I finished my drawn thread Almost Halloween. I had so much fun working on this one. I love all the specialty stitches and the cool specialty fiber. I don't know that I would love it in a huge project, but I loved it in this fairly small project. You guys know how much I love a drawn thread. So I was very excited to finish this one. And here it is. almost Halloween. So cute. Here, I'll give you a close up. I did get a piece at Hobby Lobby that I think I can finish this onto. It's kind of like a wood plaque, so I'll make like a little sign. Yeah, I did add backstitching to the ghost and the W and the skeleton, similar to what Deb from Country Stitchers had shown, because I just love the way those details popped out. And otherwise, everything is stitched as called for with DMC and Threadworks. And I stitched this on a 32 count purled barley from Lakeside linens. So yay, that was what I got finished this week. Okay, let's get into whips. I didn't jump around too much this week, I don't think. No, not really. And I got a lot of progress, I feel like, on stuff that I worked on, so I'm pretty pleased with what I got done this week. So I'm going to start with my stocking for Rob. It's the Kooler Design Studio Heirloom stocking, the Holiday Study. And here is my progress. I gotta keep moving backwards every time I hold this one up. I'll give you a close-up of what I actually got done. So I started rounding the heel over here by adding in the train. This is kind of the lowest point of the stocking right here underneath this train. And I added a lot more details into Santa, and oops, I guess I started moving across over to the toe as well. So yeah, I'm really rounding third base. I feel like on this one, I've just got to move, you know, across here and get the toe done. And I'll be ready to finish this into a stocking. I'm so excited. And then of course I've got to do the name, but that'll take a couple hours and that'll be fine. Oh, yeah. It's so fun. Every time I finish, like when I started like this little train and like I'd finished back stitching all these little blocks and stuff, I was like, Rob, look at it. Look at it. And he's like, yes, I love it. I'm like, okay, just so you love it, I need to know. Oh, so fun. I'm stitching this on 25 count mushroom Lugana with all the called for DMC, 3 strands over 2. Next up this week, I pulled out The Visitor by Blackberry Rabbit. I've just been addicted to stitching this one and I've missed it this month. Since I've been really focusing on samplers, I was like, let me just pull this one out. Oops, I have a needle just hanging out. Cool, let me just tuck that back. Maybe I'll edit this whole part out and you'll never know I was this disorganized. Here it is. Oh, so cool. So you can see I started on the big bird tail down there. That's pretty much all I got done this week. Maybe a little more, well, I started that little leaf that the bird is sitting on as well. And maybe a little bit more details in that upper kind of yellow and green leaf up here. But yeah, I just worked on this one for probably like half a day, but I just wanted to put a few more strands of thread into it and I love it. I posted this one on my Instagram this week and the consensus is just that this is even better stitched up than in the chart photo, which isn't that always the case. But with this one especially, because it's so like painterly and the colors, there's so many colors and the way they all blend together in this piece is just magical. So if you like this one at all, I recommend it. It is such a fun stitch. It does take a lot of floss colors, but they are all worth it because it is just stunning all together. Look at those little flowers and the leaves. Yeah. So anyways, that's The Visitor. My last two whips were part of my Sampler September stitching, and the first one was my whip, which was Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. I was really missing stitching on this one, so I made it my whip for last week so I could get some time on it. And here, ooh, let me back up. Here is where I'm at. Oh, so cool. So I think this past week, really what I mainly focused on was getting page finish. And this chart is split into 6 pages, and 2 of the pages just had probably like 60 stitches wide. Was the far right side of the pattern, and I was really sick of flipping back and forth between those little pages and the larger pages. So I was like, I'm just gonna finish the whole right side, 60 columns, you know, 60 stitches in. That way I don't have to use those pages anymore. And so, you know, that's kind of, well, you can kind of see like right down the strawberries. But anyway, so I got 2 page finishes and started working more on the rest of this big basket of flowers and a bird. And yeah, I just love how this one is turning out. It's so much fun. So yay, I'm really happy with the progress I made on Land That I Love this week. Oh, and because I always forget to say on this one for some reason. And if I ever forget to say what a project is on, I do put it in my description box, so you can go find it there. But I will mention this is stitched with all of the called for fancy floss and DMC, but I am using a 36 count Limestone by Zweigart that I over dyed with some brown and gray Rit dye just to deepen the limestone color a bit. And that's what I'm using for my Land That I Love. So next up was the sampler that I started last week for the hashtag Sampler September. This one's not a reproduction. I don't actually have, well, maybe Antopley. Was Antopley a reproduction? I'll have to look into that. But that was hashtag September Sampler Soiree if you were stitching on a reproduction, or hashtag Sampler September if you were stitching on just like a new sampler. So that was my new start this week, which was Tiny Treetops by Blackbird Designs. And this is from the Sewing Club book. Sewing Club. This is my first project at a sewing club, and I love it. And here is my progress. Yay! Oh, that looks good. I'm excited about this one. It's just really sweet. It's only about 5 inches, 6 inches tall. It's really just the top third of a sampler, essentially, and I love it. It's gonna be so cool. I love the colors. There's a couple of pale pinks and a red and some greens. It's really lovely. You can see I have not stitched my initials. I haven't stitched my EAT yet in there, mostly because it calls for the same color as the letters, so they kind of blend, which I like, but I was kind of thinking about maybe changing them to one of the other colors in the pattern, but I'll probably decide that towards the end, so I just haven't put my initials in there yet. And I'm stitching this one on 36 count Doubloon from Picture This Plus, which is a color I know that's used a lot, but I've never stitched with it, and I really love Doubloon. It's very antique-y, very modeled. I think you can tell that in the camera. It's just really lovely to stitch on. So, and I'm using all the called for over-dyed threads on this. So that's my progress for this week. Okay, so let's talk about next week for Sampler September. Next week, the whip that I've pulled out is one I have not touched in about a month, and I'm very excited to work on, and it's my Consider the Lilies. This is by Heartstring Samplery. Came out at market this year. It is massive. and beautiful. There's so many great colors. Yeah, so let me show you. It hasn't been touched in a month, so the last time you saw it, it's the same amount of progress, but I will show it to you right now so you have a good starting point for next week. Ooh, let me back up a little. And here is my Consider the Lilies. Oh, yay. I haven't even looked at this in like a month. I'm so excited to see this. I had just started that center tree with the snake. And I actually feel like I had made a mistake with that first little branch that I have to rip out. So whatever, that'll be a project for next week when I restart this. But yeah, there is Consider the Lilies. So I'll be working on this one this upcoming week. And now I have a new start that I am very excited about. I have been wanting to stitch this for, I guess maybe I saw it about a year or two ago, whenever everybody, I feel like on Instagram, was stitching this one at the same time. There was some sort of stitch along and I couldn't find the pattern and I was like, oh, well, that's okay. I don't need it. And then in one of my videos, I had mentioned loving birds of a feather charts, and somebody was destashing some and had reached out to me and said, oh, which ones are you looking for? And I said, the Sally Spencer sampler. And she had it, so I bought from her destash the Sally Spencer chart, and I love her. I'm so excited to stitch this one. Kim from Barbara's Daughter Flosstube just started hers a couple of weeks ago, and it's looking so beautiful, and I so appreciate her color recommendations because she had pointed out that Brethren Blue was a little bit darker than it probably used to be, because in the chart, in the picture, you can see a real distinct 3 colors of blue here. And Brethren Blue is pretty dark now, and so it doesn't look quite as different as the Blackbird, or is it Blackbird? I don't know. But anyways, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that. So right now the plan is to stitch with all the called for colors, but I may make some adjustments as I go. We'll see. I also don't necessarily have a plan for all the initials yet. I think Kim mentioned in her video yesterday that there are 13 sets of initials in here. So I'm gonna go through that and think of a plan. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Yeah, so let me show you what I'm stitching it on. I'm gonna be using a 36 count vintage sand dune from Lakeside Linens that I got at the Tinsmith's Wife during my trip a few weeks ago. And I am using all the called for colors. I have actually, I feel like this is so weird. I've actually never stitched with Buckeye Scarlet, which is the red that's called for. And I know it's like a really popular, like everyone's favorite red. So I'm very excited about that. Here are my 3 blues that I was talking about. So let me see if I can fan these out for you. I guess in the camera, they do look like 3 distinct blues. So I'll have to play with them on when I actually start stitching. But if I need to change, like to make this one more visible, I might lighten it up a little bit with a different color, but yeah. So I'm really excited. I think this is gonna be so much fun to stitch on. And it's really a good size. It's about 150 by 150. So I think, you know, it's not, you know, even though I'm starting it now and I'll probably only work on it for this week for right now, I feel like I'll get a good start on it. And when I come back to it, I'll be in a good place to, you know, work on it and finish it up. So okay, that's gonna be my start on Sally Spencer this week. So I have been having so much fun with my kind of sampler September plan that I created for myself, working on whips and also starting 4 new projects. It's been slightly overwhelming as the 4 projects I started were, I don't know, fairly big. None of them were huge samplers, but you know, they're big projects. They're not just like little smalls. And so I am excited next month to get back to kind of my normal, whatever I want to work on, and also start some smalls. I really am like an in-season stitcher, even though I can't probably get any more fall or Halloween things. Well, maybe, but it's not really likely that I'm going to get any more done and fully finished to decorate before the season. I still like to stitch on things in the season. It's just fun for me. It's just, you know, I like I like stitching seasonal things in the season we're in. So I think once I'm through September, what am I trying to say? Sampler September. Once I'm through that, I will probably start working on like some Christmas ornaments and some more fall projects just to get them started for next year. And I don't know, I think it's gonna be all about seasonal stitching and then working on samplers as I want to. But I really do want to get some Christmas ornaments done and finished for the tree this year. So I'll probably start some of those in October. And I don't know, we'll talk more about that next week because I'm still in Sampler September and I'm very excited about my Sally Spencer start. So I don't want to think ahead too much and wish away time. But yeah, I'm just very excited about my stitching, and I'm excited about the upcoming holiday season and getting some more Christmas projects done. Yeah, so anyways, now let's talk a little bit about quilts because I have a little bit of a quilty update. Nothing completed yet, but I thought I would show you my progress I've been making on my Halloween quilt because we're reaching the end of September and I need to get it done. So I've got everything cut out. I've just been assembling the quilt top, and since my blocks are only 6 inches, it's slow going because the quilt's going to be pretty big. It's a good couch size. So I got the first row assembled and a bunch more blocks, but I thought I would just show you my progress. As a reminder, I'm going to put a picture on the screen of kind of what I'm emulating, which is kind of an easy Irish chain quilt. And I saw a Christmas themed one that I loved, and I decided to adapt that to a Halloween Irish chain quilt using the figs. Is it figs? Halloween figs? I'll put it up on the screen. I can't remember exactly what this line is called now that I'm sitting here on camera because that's just what happens. But anyways, I bought a jelly roll of the Halloween fabric and used that to make all these little blocks. Let me just hold it up so you know what I'm talking about. Although, oh my gosh, it's so hard to hold quilty stuff up because it's so big. But you can get an idea of how big it is. This is my first row. I am sewing the blocks together. I strip pieced all of these little guys and then made them into blocks. And then I am sewing them together in a 2x2 block and then sewing the blocks together. Does that sound unnecessarily complicated? I don't know. That's just the way I wanted to do it. It's making it easier to match up my corners, and yeah. So this is row 1 of 6 done. So this quilt will be 6 feet long when I'm done with it, which is great because I am also close to 6 feet long. So yeah, that's my Halloween quilt that I cannot wait to wrap up in on the couch. Okay, I think that's all I have to share with you guys this week. It was a really fun week. I'm so glad my mom had some time to come over yesterday afternoon, and I know I looked a little shiny, sweaty because I was just cleaning my house before she came over. It was after my nephew's birthday party, so apologies for that. I did not have on my usual bright lipstick, pretty hair look. Those are for Sunday mornings only. The rest of the week, I'm just, you know, Liz. So anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you like these videos, maybe give it a thumbs up or a like and subscribe. I think I'm supposed to say that in these videos. It feels awkward to say it. So I assume if you like watching me, you'll click subscribe. I don't know. So anyways, I really appreciate all of you coming to visit with me, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Thank you.